You're watching Blue Dog Aquatics. Now, today we are doing an update on our forest chameleon. Look at how cute the forest chameleon is. This tank has been up and running for several months now, and we're going to talk about the difference. Now, we were going to do a fish video. We have a huge freshwater fish order coming in, and I was going to do it on it. That's why I didn't do a video yesterday, but it got delayed thanks to FedEx. So now it's not showing in tomorrow. So stick around till next week and we'll show you everything that we got in. We have 69 new species coming in, and yeah, they're really cool. And as you can see, the paludarium back there is growing in nicely, but we're not doing a video quite yet on that one. I'm still recovering from my shoulder surgery, and so I'm still working on editing. It's just taking longer, but I still need to do some more footage of that video, or of that tank, and all that. And we're actually going to put a really cool animal in there. Can you guess what it is? Leave us a comment down below. Tell us your thoughts. All right, but without further ado, so as you guys remember, this is a bioactive. I do currently have the doors off right now just so you can see, because there's so much humidity in here. But there used to be a rock wall in here with a piece of driftwood coming out, and this tank's actually been cut back several different times. But if you don't remember, we'll go through and show you. So you can actually see the rock back here, and I was hoping that it would keep some of that contrast, but it didn't. It just all grew in, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But we still have our misting system here. This is our drain tube, and you can see the drain bucket back there, and then we have our fill bucket for our misting system right here. We do use a Mist King system on this, but this tank goes off about 5 times every day. Now, we did have to make some modifications to the drain line because I didn't want to drill a hole in my countertop here. And so we actually put a breather valve, or a 3-way valve, right here so that it doesn't get purged right here. So it used to hold water right here, and you can still kind of see it there, but it wouldn't drain. You would actually have to lift up the hose every single day just so that the front of the enclosure didn't drain or flood. So we put this 3-way valve in here. It's just PVC. There's no clamps on it or anything, but you can see it's doing its job. I haven't drained it in, well, since it got put in, so I'm very grateful for that. Now, plants, like I said, we've trimmed these back so much. The mangrove plants are doing amazing. We actually put them in here as an experiment to see how well that they would do, and they are doing outstanding. The creeping ficus, as you can see, has taken over everything. I did switch from dual misting heads to quad misting heads, so there's 8 misting heads in here. That way we can get every aspect wet and watered, because we were noticing that there were sections that were actually drying out, but we don't have that issue anymore. One of the issues we still have, so there's blowers way back in the corner, and they keep getting blocked by the creeping ficus because it keeps just growing over it. So that's one of the reasons we have to keep cutting it back, is so that there's that circulation and that airflow in here. The ferns are growing in very nice. Another plant that we've had to cut back. We haven't had to add any new cleanup crews. We still have the zebra isopods, which are right there. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus on them. Maybe. There they are. That population has probably doubled in size, and the crazy thing is you don't see half of them until you start cutting back and moving stuff, because they're everywhere. This right here is that piece of ghostwood. It did exactly what I wanted it to. It grew over. It looks natural and realistic. And then also we have the I think this is just the coolest thing ever, is you can see the root structure actually growing down this piece of ghostwood. And that in itself is just absolutely awesome. You can see, look at that. That's just really, really cool. Miss Forest Chameleon here, she's doing good. She's getting bigger. She still doesn't move around a whole lot, but that's fine. She does her own thing. But yeah, one thing, we did have to remove the pothos that we had in the back corner, because it kept, we moved some of it down lower, but it just wasn't getting the sunlight. We also, as you can see here, it's kind of bundled up, but the creeping ficus actually choked out our other plants over here, which was something I definitely was not anticipating. But, you know, it's fine. It looks cool. The lights are still going strong. These are actually LEDs, which really surprises me. They are full spectrum LEDs, so they do cost a little bit more money. But as you can see, you know, if you look back at our old video, and I'll make sure to tag that video in this. So if you haven't seen how we built this, how we set it up, I'll make sure to drop a link up in the right hand corner so that you guys can see that and see the transformation, because it's just absolutely insane. We do have the ivy here. This is actually a plant that I did not think was going to make it, but it made its appearance out. You can see right here we actually did cut it back because it was all over the front. And the crazy thing about this is that most of these plants, you know, aside from the fern, actually came in as just little tiny plants. They, like the ivy here, was just a maybe 3 or 4 inch long stem that we put up in the top corner, and it's grown in crazy. Now, one thing I did learn with the creeping ficus here is that you see how it puts its foothold everywhere. So if you cut it, so this right here is a foothold or a root structure. If you cut it in front of that and there's no foothold down and you try to replant it, it'll die. You have to have a foothold here. So if you were to cut this section out right here and replant this section, it would die. You have to have the foothold so that it can go down in the roots. And I don't know, it's a really weird plant. But I just want to do an update on this tank, show you guys how incredible it has turned out. It's still really cool because it's still got that depth feeling. There's still like void back there, and the plants, even though they don't get a lot of light, they're still thriving, which is incredible. But we, like I said, next Monday I will put out a video on the fish that we got in, and then in 2 weeks we will finally have the video start to finish on the big paludarium. Like I said, I have a little bit more video to do on it. We actually added our first fish in, so and we started adding a couple of plants, but the colonies, the cleanup crews, the plants, they're doing absolutely amazing. So stick around for that. As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We can't wait to see you next time. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And as always, the big question: your tank or mine?